Okay, pushing updates to applications is a fact of life, and for the longest time, it's been a royal pain in the backside. I've personally lost many weekends to monolithic, all-hands-on-deck legacy application updates. And you know what? I have no intention of going there again if I can help it. Well, rolling updates, like we're going to see here, when coupled with things like microservice architectures and the likes, let's just say they promise a better future. So to see this, we're going to deploy a new service. So let's clean this one up first. So Docker Service RM psite1. Let's just check. Okay, looks nice and clear, but no harm in double checking. Right, I reckon we're clean. Now, first up, I'm going to create a new overlay network for this service. Just call that PSNet. And just make sure it looks okay. Yeah, there it is at the bottom, PSNet overlay. And I'm going to deploy this service here. Now, look, we've seen all this before, right? So just quickly, we're creating a new service, calling it psite2, putting it on the PSNet network that we just created, net network. This time we're going to publish it on port 80 across the swarm, remember. We'll have 12 tasks and we'll base it off of this image. Now a couple of quick things about the image. First up, right, this is a fork that I made of the common voting app that's used all the time to demo Docker functionality. Seriously, it's become like the hello world of Docker demos, so I thought I'd better throw it in somewhere. But second up about the image, right, this time I'm being specific about which version of the image to deploy. I recommend you always specific, okay? Now, if we scoot over here real quickly to my repo in Docker Hub, we can see that I've got two versions of the image. V2 and the latest tags are just tags of the same version of the image, right? So I've got V1 and then V2 and latest. Okay, back here, and off that goes. Okay, we'll do our usual checks. Okay, 0 out of 12 tasks currently running. Now, I imagine that's because Docker's off pulling the image from Docker Hub. I expect it'll probably take a second or two, but you know what? We can still drill down while that's happening. Oh, this'll be the end of me. Seriously. I hope you've got your glasses on. Well, if you can see them, they're all there, and they're all at version 1 of the image. And, okay, most of them are in the running state. Anyway, look, we can see that in the time it took us to resize the screen and punch in that command, the image has been downloaded and all of the tasks, well, most of the tasks are running. And if you want, you can pause the video here and check it out, but there'll be 2 tasks per node because of the way Swarm balances work across the nodes. But yeah, there's an elephant in the room. It looks like we've had a task fail to start. Rejected. It's on Manager 1 and it failed to start due to a gateway allocation error. Okay, really interesting actually, but now's not the time to get sidetracked. Okay, let's see if we can reach it. So if we come here and grab the IP of any of our nodes. Now let's stick it up here in a new tab. And there we go. A simple web app, right, that lets us vote whether or not the beautiful game should be called football or soccer. Now I'm talking about the game played with this kind of ball, right? I know, obviously its real name is football, right? I don't know who came up with the name soccer. What is that? Anyway, this is what version 1 of our app looks like. Now, if we come back here and inspect our service like this, we see, yeah, the image we're using. Okay, nothing under placement strategy right now. But if we come down here, we can see the service's network stuff. But what I'm most interested in for now is this section here, update config. Now then, when you initially create a service, so with Docker Service Create, you can set a couple of update related settings. Now, I'm personally not in the habit of doing it when I create a service. It might work for you doing it that way, help yourself. But what these options do though is set defaults for the service, meaning let's say if we were to update the image in this service from V1 to V2, based on the config that I'm showing you on the overlay screen here, it's going to do it 2 tasks at a time. So roll 2 tasks to version 2, wait for a 10-minute delay, and then roll another set. Wait for 10 minutes, roll another set. Get the picture? But I didn't set any of these when I started the service. So for me to update it, I can go Docker service update, then image, because I want to update the image. And you know what? We could set it to update the network config or whatever, right? But no, I want to go to version 2 of that image we looked at earlier. Then I'm manually saying here, update parallelism. Try spelling that. I'll go 2, and then I'll say update delay and 10 seconds. So, Docker service update, self-explanatory. We're going to update the image to this version, and then this is how we're going to do it. We're going to update 2 tasks at a time, so 2 in parallel. After we've done the first 2, we're going to wait for 10 seconds. Then after 10 seconds is up, we'll update another 2. Wait another 10 seconds, update another 2. Essentially, steamrolling our way through all 12 tasks that we've currently got in the service. Speaking of which, we got to tell it our service here, and let's go. Now then, a really good way to monitor the progress is Docker Service PS, which obviously works miles better when the output doesn't wrap over 50 lines. Okay, well, we can see that our first 2 have already rolled and they're at version 2. In fact, they've only just gone, only up 1 second before I ran the command. And over the process of the next 120 seconds or so, every one of these here tasks is going to get its number called, meaning that if we hop back over here and if we hit refresh a few times, okay, there we go, we start hitting some new versions of the app, right? So it's now containers versus VMs instead of football versus soccer. Now, the longer we wait and the more we hit refresh, if we kept doing that right, we'd see more and more of this come up versus the old version. Now, I'm an impatient person, but I reckon I've waited a good 120 seconds by now. So let's check this again. Okay, so that's not massively easy to read. I'll tell you what, how about good old grep? Right, that's better. Now, if there's 12 on there, which it looks like there might be, then we're all done and dusted. So we've rolled through updating all 12 tasks or containers in the service, 2 at a time, and holding off 10 seconds in between each set of 2. And if we inspect our service again, okay, well, first up, we can see the status of the update, all complete and some timing info. But look down here as well. We can see the update config of the service now matches the update parallelism and update delay settings that we just put in a moment or 2 ago. Which, at least at the time of recording, okay, means we can do further Docker service updates without having to manually type the update parallelism and the update delay flags. What'll happen is we'll automatically get the values that are here. But yeah, that's rolling updates with Docker services, a real go-to weapon in the war against monolithic apps. Next up, our final new technology to learn. I'm starting to get sad. It's like that kind of feeling you get, you know, when it's towards the end of your summer holiday from school and it's still holidays but the end's looming. Well, we've got more to come here in this course, but the end is fast approaching. Anyway, we're gonna look at stacks and distributed application bundles. Literally the icing on the cake of everything that we've learned here. So I promise you won't want to miss it. See you there.